Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Schmidt List. I am your host, Kurt Schmidt. I am excited you are joining me today. I've got a great friend of mine, John, is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about all things building agencies, lead gen, all that sort of stuff. It's great. I think you're really going to enjoy this episode, so make sure you stick around. But speaking of building businesses, I do want to mention something new that I've recently am starting to launch, which is called the Solopreneur Society. It's really aimed at people that are running their own small businesses. It's solopreneurs, right? You're an entrepreneur, but you're doing it by yourself, or a micro business. Maybe you've got some part-time help or something like that. And it's a peer group for these sorts of folks. And you get to interact and work with other people. It's a monthly meetings, and we talk through everything from contract negotiations, lead generation, how to run the business, how to scale the business. It's really a great support group that I'm launching soon. There'll be links in the description for you to check out. All right, let's jump in and start talking to my friend John. John, how are you today?
Hey, Kurt, thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. So, John, tell me about the work you do and who you work with.
All right. Well, currently I'm president of Interactive Circle, which is a 15-year-old ad agency here, as well as a division of theirs called the Agency Builder. And so what we're doing is helping people, individuals, solopreneurs launch their own agencies.
That's so cool.
Interactive Circle's got a 15 years of history building, servicing clients, rolling out products, helping with marketing. And their agency operating system is what we are leveraging to help launch these new agencies, and not just an infrastructure that can help other agencies, but really designed at helping someone who's thought about it, but maybe hasn't quite gotten over the idea of how do I build a tech stack? How do I generate new business? We want to take all that off their plate and help them be agency owners, successful ones.
That's super smart. Well, and so you've got this long history in agencies. How did you get into it? Is
Yeah,
that your story as well?
I'm going on almost 30 years of launching digital marketing services from within traditional media organizations, as well as working for publishers, software companies, and agencies.
That's super cool. Has it always been sort of in the marketing and sales sort of side of things for you?
Yeah, I'm a journalism grad, so I liked the media and the news space. And you combine that with the internet, and content is king. And it just kind of all came together, and decided that I really wanted to be involved in the advertising, the research, the marketing aspect of helping businesses grow. Launching websites for publishers kind of fit into that as well.
Oh, that's super cool. Did you find that as you were going through, it sounds like you and I had similar trajectories as we are helping grow these businesses and building these agencies. We're seeing other people repeating similar mistakes or opportunities over time. Is that sort of where this idea of the agency builder came from as well?
Yeah, I think where that really came about was understanding that there are business owners, entrepreneurs that have a nice network of businesses that they own, contacts that they know. They're spending a lot of money on marketing. They're spending money with agencies. And the combination of, hey, you've got all this, plus you're an entrepreneur, why don't you launch your own agency? Right. So that's kind of the ideal scenario. They may not have a lot of the marketing know how, but that's where we come in and where we help.
Yeah, it makes sense. I've run into other businesses that have tried to do this before and struggled. So I love the idea of having sort of a guide like you folks as part of this, because I think it makes a lot of sense. I know some very successful real estate people that spend tens and maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars a month sometimes on marketing. And then they're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just hire a bunch of marketing people and we'll do it ourselves. And then they wonder why it doesn't really work out well for them. I'm sure you've experienced those situations before, John. What are some of the key mistakes people make when they try to do it themselves?
Well, I think what a lot of the traditional agencies have found is that when you are building your agency around a skill set that your people have, you tend to sell those skill sets and sell those products more than you do others. And so you're hiring expensive people that are very good at what they do. But then you've got clients that need more than just those one or two specialties. if you're really good at PPC and display and paid media, but now you need a website, right? And you don't offer that. So it starts to create this scenario where there could be client churn. And when you lose clients, you have to lay people off. And then when you gain clients, you have to hire people. You not only do you get churn on the client side, but you're getting it internally as well. And that
Mhm.
just makes for a
Yeah.
difficult culture. I think the agency of the future is really designed around leaders and project management skills, along with a vast qualified network of service providers and contractors. The way we've built Interactive Circle is just that. It's strong leadership, really good project management and operational people that are the core. And they are the liaison between the client's needs and the contractors and the service providers that can do that. So we make it all happen. So we're not just always selling what we know we're good at, we are actually delivering what they need. It allows us to scale up and down as needed without having to hire and fire.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, as you know, John, I'm a partner at XUI focused agency. We focus on building high quality SaaS interfaces. We work specifically with companies that use software as a service. And our agency is the exact same way. It's got a strong delivery lead and a strong design lead, and then business people that are running the business side of things. But everybody else is built. We build teams for each project, and it's been very successful. And it's something 5 years ago I would have scoffed at. 10 years ago I would have laughed at, because 10 years ago I remember so many clients asking, are these full-time people? I need criminal background checks. I need to see that they are W-2 employees, and procurement had these very strict rules for a lot of things. So we were in response to these companies, we were having to build these larger and larger agencies and companies because that's what their part of their requirements of winning the projects were. Doesn't seem that way anymore, does it, John?
Not at all. You can maybe thank COVID a little bit for that too, in creating
Yeah.
these remote workforces and making it so easy to hire people that fit the needs of your clients, regardless of where they're located.
So let's say, I'm interested in this service. Tell me about kind of how it works. How does it start? What do you do? Do you have like a discovery phase where you're sort of auditing where they're at and what their target group is? How does it work?
Yeah. Yeah. Understanding who these agencies owners are is really important. And it's important to us because it's a partnership, it's a strategic partnership. And we need to know that they're not a passive owner or a passive investor. They are going to be heavily engaged and active in the lead generation process, the product, the sales, the operations. They just need to be involved. They don't have to do it. We're going to do it all, right? One of the most valuable things is just knowing that they've got a network, right? They know business owners, they know marketing decision makers. They can bring their network to the table. We're still going to go out and generate leads the way we always have done. The leads we generate, the business we close, they own it. They own the agency, they own the business that we close for them. If they bring their network to the table, their leads, we're going to put them in at the top of the funnel and we're going to work them as if they were our own. And once we close them, that agency owns that account. So, we're doing a lot of inbound and outbound to generate leads. The leads that come through our agency owners, we call them nearbound. So nearbound is a strategic partnership term that gets thrown around a lot, but this is the essence of what that means.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, understanding the process is really important because I can imagine this isn't widely, I don't see a lot of other companies doing this service or offering. It seems that with your specific expertise, you've got to have that in order for make this work. I mean, somebody with your tenure and experience of building these agencies has got to be critical to being an oracle for these folks to see what's coming, right?
Right, right. Well, and it's not just me. We've got a great CEO in Shane Dunn and a CRO, Alan Littman, tons of experience they're bringing to the table, and a great operational team as well with 15 plus years of experience. So when we establish this partnership with the new agency owner, the process is the validation, the understanding that they're going to make an initial investment to help us fund the people, the technology, the lead generation that goes
Yeah,
along with
the
it.
infrastructure, right?
Right, right. We set it up in a way where, those first 90 days, we're focused on your brand, right? Most of these agencies start from ground zero. They need to build an LLC, they need a brand, they need a logo, they need a website. So we're building all that out, setting up the CRM, setting up the project management tools and the billing and everything that goes along with that. Then they launch with their website. We begin the lead generation process, which, the traditional inbound, outbound efforts, email, marketing automation, outbound calling, some third-party services to help us, lots of content marketing, building that lead funnel and building that pipeline for all the agencies, and then start closing business and working their network as well as ours.
Hmm. I love it. I think it's super smart. In terms of the marketing that you're finding successful these days, because I do want your advice on for where these businesses are seeing success. Is there a type, a channel? Everybody's talking about social media. I mean, I even have business owners being like, should I start a TikTok channel? And
Mhm.
all these things. Is there channels and areas where you're seeing more success than others? What would be your advice for people these days on what to be considering when they're thinking about that marketing?
Yeah, in these agencies, we focus on the fundamentals first and foremost. So we have a pretty diverse suite of products and services that we can offer, you know, similar to what I said earlier, lots of service partners and contractors so that we can easily pivot based on a client's needs. We end up doing a lot of web development projects, oddly enough. Good old websites still need to be built, they need to be rebuilt.
You.
People need to graduate from whatever platform they're on and move on to something that's more custom, more, WordPress most likely. And so we're doing a lot of that. And with that comes SEO and content marketing and how do we drive more traffic to it? And it's a nice lead in to paid search and paid display and streaming services. And then we get into email. So that's all in place. Paid and organic social is there too. But now we're getting to a point where because of the agency owners, they bring things to the table. They bring services, they bring relationships to the table that start to open up doors to new services and new ideas. So we're rolling out things that have a lot like storytelling combined with native advertising, with a partnership with a major national publisher, right? So now we're taking content marketing to the next level, and we're
Mm,
getting a lot of interest with this. We're helping not just brands and companies, but we're helping executives with their own thought leadership initiative, their own social media presence. And then there's lead gen, the same lead gen tools we're using to generate business for our agency, we're making available to our clients.
yeah, I love all of that because it isn't just one area where you're focused on like paid search or something. You're going to where people are at. And the content side of things is so big these days. I recently had someone on the show and I talked about the history behind it, about how people's behavior on the internet has changed. It's changed from a place which was more like a mall where you went window shopping to a tool store where you're going and trying to find the tools that you need in order to help you live your daily life or run your business or any of these things. So you see the growth of SaaS, and that's why generative AI has been so popular because it's helping kind of enhance some of the work that people are doing. If you're kind of got your crystal ball out for me, John, like, where do you see things going in the next 6 months or year around those sorts of things? Do you see it growing? Do you see it shifting? What's your advice for business owners to be kind of paying attention to?
I spent some time with NP Digital and Neil Patel. So I kind of come from the school of content marketing, you're right? And I just think that is going to continue to evolve. You think about it's not just about producing blogs with the right keywords, it's really about putting thoughtful content out there to help tell a story about your brand.
Yeah.
And if you've got a good content marketing strategy that includes that, and it branches out to your social, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever. It's an extension of it. You've got a combination of video that you're able to incorporate into it. You're doing webinars, you're doing podcasts, you're getting out there in different ways to really rise above a lot of the digital marketing.
Ways.
Yeah, that's going to be the big differentiator. But, a lot of those tried and true things still need to be in place. You've got to have a good paid search campaign going in the mix. You've got to have some email going with the sales funnel. All
Yep.
these things work together. There's no silver bullet. I think we've learned that maybe the hard way. But there's this circle, right? I think there's terms like the circle of influence.
Hmm.
You're doing content, social, paid, traditional, to create this environment where you've got this audience that you can constantly be nurturing and growing. They're going to convert when they're ready, right? But you've just got to keep in front of them.
Yeah. I think it's important because there's so much information out there. It can be really hard to parse through. And so I love what you're doing because you're providing this guide in a way, right? This Sherpa to help you sort of navigate what's going to come next because there's so many options, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun. Each of these agencies that we launch, we need to have them differentiate from one another, right? And so we might have one that really leads with web development, one that
Hmm.
leads with streaming TV or audio. So we get to kind of pick and choose and work with them based on where their interests lie, where their network might benefit the most, and position these agencies, so that they're independent. We also want them to be sharing amongst all the agency owners, kind of a type of advisory board, if you will. So everybody's floating each other's boats, right?
That's the key, right? Is that you're building not only these individual agencies, but you're building this network of people that are growing separately, but all together as an ecosystem.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, which I think is super smart because in every sort of link, you want to be able to make sure that if there's something that's weaker in there, that the other things can support it, keep it going, right? And the ones that are super strong are giving back to the rest, and it's sort of this ecosystem that just makes a lot of sense.
Yep. It's been a lot of fun. It started with should we just white label this and offer it up to other agencies? And we've just felt like, let's figure out a way to help people launch their own because it's not for everybody, right? But if you're at a point where I can launch one of these agencies on the side and still do my full time job, have this kind of grow in the background, and then maybe jump into it when it gets to a certain point of net
Yeah.
profitability, not going to be my full time deal. And it's that the same type of thing you'd look at when you're considering maybe I should buy into a franchise or something like that. It's like I'm at a point in my career where I want to gain some independence and some financial freedom and be able to lean into what I want to do. So that's the kind of audience that this seems to resonate well with.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question, John. Who should not be doing this? Is it business? Is it mindset? Where are areas where people might not be ready to do this?
Well, I think I hit on it earlier. It's not like a passive investment. I mean, if you're an entrepreneurial that likes to throw money at things and watch their bank account grow and kind of sit back,
You should buy
that's not,
property.
yeah, there you go. That's not what we're looking for. I think the ideal is, someone that owns a lot of businesses, right? They understand marketing for the most part. They've got a big network. They know that they could announce that they've got their own agency and put some information out there and attract some business. Maybe another one, if, you or I that are very seasoned in marketing and can probably launch something fairly quickly and generate business on our own, that's probably what those type of people should do. So kind of somewhere in the middle, we're
Got it.
not looking for a former agency owner or somebody that is fully capable of doing this on their own. We're looking for somebody that has the network that we can assist with.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense because you want sort of this business opportunity there, and that person is an expert in it. Now, how can we get more eyeballs on it and get more people understanding that it even exists in the
Yeah.
first place, right?
Yeah. Another really good scenario is somebody that is skilled in a marketing service, right? Maybe they're not the entrepreneur or own a lot of businesses, but they know how to do video production really good, right? And they want to launch their own agency around video production, which might not be a service that we necessarily offer. But now, not only could they become an agency owner that leads with their video production service and has all of our products and services behind them to kind of round out their full suite, but now we could actually incorporate them into the ecosystem as a service provider. So now we start reselling their video production services through all the other agencies. So it becomes a win-win-win.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's a really smart idea because there's so many of these opportunities, but building it by yourself can just stop people before they start. And I've seen so many people that are super intelligent, super capable, just get stopped by the sheer grade that they're looking at that they got to go up in order to, or at least in their mind, they've created this very steep grade that they've got to climb up in order to get to that level. And being able to have somebody that's a partner that's sort of traveled that road before, being able to help them take that expertise up the hill to that next level.
We want to take all that out of the equation and have some fun.
Yeah, I think it's great. So, one last question I have for you. In terms of marketing and the content marketing sort of things, is there, what's your thoughts on, you know, obviously you, much like me, are focused a lot more on the B2B space. Is LinkedIn kind of the key place I should be focused on if you were to give some advice to business owners? Are there other areas that you would give some suggestions for people that are trying to grow their business through marketing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big part of the equation. It's a great B2B platform. I call it my personal CRM, right? It's just a great way to put yourself out there, connect with people, search for the titles and the industries that you're looking for, make the investment in Sales Navigator and really get to understand what it's capable of. Double down on LinkedIn. And then the other piece is experiment. There's lots of in-market type databases that can provide you leads that you can then nurture through AI driven email automation, SMS. Some are in their infancy, but it's a good time to get in and start playing with it and learn from it.
Yeah, it's a great time. And the barrier to entry is not insane, but it does take some work. And that's why I'm glad there's folks like you out there, John, that are providing that sort of guidance.
Yeah, we'll stumble around a little bit so you don't have to.
Right, exactly. Well, John, if I want to get in touch with you, where's a good place to connect with you and find out more info?
Well, not surprisingly, you're going to find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest. I'm pretty active there. So it's John Hoeft. Otherwise, visit theagencybuilder.com and learn a little bit more about what we're doing there too.
Yeah, thanks, John. I really appreciate you sharing. I'm going to have to get you back on the show soon. I love your advice for these business owners. I think it's fantastic. So, anybody who's listening, there'll be links in the description below for all the things, John. So, make sure you go in and check it out. Thanks again, John.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join me. One last push for the Solopreneur Society is coming soon. So, there is a special offer for initial launch sort of pricing that's very affordable. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Again, there'll be links in the description so you can learn more and hear more about that stuff. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your week. I appreciate you. We will see you next time.